The hotel on Maple Ridge was dressed for spectacle. Lanterns along the drive, a runner the color of fresh cream, a string quartet warming their fingers over paper cups of tea. Guests drifted toward the ballroom in the practiced way of people who know where to stand when cameras come out. No one expected trouble. The trouble arrived months earlier, folded inside a glossy envelope that said with joy, though it had been sent with anything but. Iris held that invitation up to the kitchen light when it came, watched the lettering throw a soft shine on her hands. She almost tossed it. Then she read the name beneath the curlicues, Miles. The man she'd believed in long after it stopped being sensible. The man who had walked out when ambition showed him a door he liked better. The man who never asked what became of the child she was carrying when the papers were signed. What became of that child was three: Alia, Min, and June, born early and noisy and hungry. Iris learned to loop sleep into 10-minute ropes between feedings. She learned to say "we're okay" into the mirror, even when the word okay felt like a hill she couldn't see the top of. She worked mornings at a bakery and nights with a fabric cutter she found on a second-hand site, turning bolt ends into table runners for craft fairs. When orders began to stack, she rented a single room with 2 windows and called it a studio. The landlord told her the paint was included if she didn't choose anything wild. She chose a quiet green and rolled it on with steady strokes, leaving the last wall for the girls to smudge with their palms. Just once before she wiped it clean. She didn't put her name on a sign. She didn't tell her story to curious strangers. She made gowns that fit shoulders like a decision, fixed hems with invisible thread, and learned which stones caught light without shouting. Her daughters learned to read in a corner with a hand-me-down rug. They ate dinner on a cutting table when the orders ran late. Iris paid cash toward the old debt of being underestimated. When the wedding day rolled around, a driver opened a car door beneath the hotel portico and 3 small pairs of feet found the ground. In pale blue dresses, Iris stepped out last. She had chosen a dress that moved when she walked in a shade that made her skin look like it belonged to itself. The girls held hands, a chain of certainty. The doorman's practiced smile faltered for a heartbeat and then returned, larger. People always notice children. Inside, Crystal threw tiny constellations against the ceiling. The air smelled of lilies and starch. Miles stood in a tuxedo the color of salt, shoulders wide, eyes already scanning for the angle of his next story. The bride, Lena, was beautiful and not at fault. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, but that might have been nerves or the weight of earrings. Iris took a seat at the back. The girls climbed onto chairs, swinging their legs until she touched their knees and the legs went still. Whispers moved through the room like a draft under a door. Someone near the aisle said her name as if confirming a rumor. Someone else said too loudly, "A coincidence." People who had only heard one version of the past began to re-sort their piles of certainty. Miles spotted Iris and did what men like him do when the past takes a seat. They pretend it's exactly what they expected. He slid his arm tighter around his fiancée's waist, turned a fraction so the photographer could make a straight line of their profiles, and let his mouth pull into the smile he wore when deals closed. He waited for Iris to flinch. She didn't. She pressed her palm to the folds of her skirt and stilled the small tremor there. The girls leaned against her like boats against a dock. Vows were said, rings offered. Applause rolled in a warm wave. Miles accepted congratulations as if they were taxes he'd long owed. When the music began, he made his way toward the back, the path opening for him without effort. He stopped 2 chairs away from Iris and cleared his throat. "You got the invitation," he said, voice honeyed for the benefit of anyone within range. "I'm grateful you could support." Iris thought of words with edges and words with weight and chose none of them. "We won't stay late," she said. "The girls have school in the morning." Miles glanced at the girls and then back at Iris, a flicker of calculation in his eyes. "You look different." "I work different hours," she said. "It changes a face." He waited for a plea, a complaint, a scene. In their old house with the thin doors, he used to say, "Don't make this dramatic," when she asked for time or help or truth. Iris had learned since then that silence could be louder than a lecture. She lifted a hand and smoothed Min's hair where it always sprang free. The girls looked at Miles with the simple curiosity of children told never to speak ill of anyone. Lena drifted closer, glass in hand, smile careful. "Hello," she said to Iris, as if the word might be the first step across a sheet of winter ice. I'm dropping off a wish," Iris said and opened her purse. She took out 3 small envelopes, each with a single pressed wildflower tucked inside and an unsigned card that said, in her blocky hand, "A house is made of choices. May yours hold more kindness than pride. She set the envelopes on the gift table, beneath the tower of boxes tied in ribbons. You keep for no reason. For an hour, Iris let her daughters dance at the edge of the floor and eat one frosted strawberry each. She spoke with two women from town who remembered her from the bakery and were startled to realize the gowns they admired in a magazine spread last. Spring had come from the quiet shop on Cedar. Word clicks into place that way sometimes. People's ideas arriving one beat behind what is already true. Not everyone softened. Pride is a jacket some refuse to take off, no matter how warm the room gets. A cousin of Miles looked Iris up and down and said, "How brave of you to come." Iris smiled as if the word meant something else. Somewhere near the bar, a man told another, "He really did trade up." The other man's gaze slid to the girls and back, and he didn't answer. When it was time to cut the cake, the room tilted toward the stage. Iris slipped out with the girls toward the lobby, their shoes tapping lightly on stone. Near the elevator, she stopped and crouched to their level. "Tell me 2 things you noticed," she said. A game they played when nerves needed a job. "The ceiling lights look like stars," Alia said. "People use their eyes like hands," Min said, wrinkling her nose. June whispered. "The music felt like running." "Good," Iris said. "Take those with you. Leave the rest here." As they turned, the photographer hurried up, breathless. "Excuse me," she said. "This might be improper, but could I make a picture of you all by the doors? The light is perfect." She didn't mention that she had watched the room bend toward Iris when she arrived, or the way Miles's smile had thinned. She didn't have to. Iris hesitated. Then she nodded. The girls arranged themselves without instruction. One on each side, one in front, little hands finding fabric to hold. The camera clicked, and in that small sound, a truth settled. This, too, would be part of the record. They left before midnight. The driver held the door again, and the doorman said, for the first time that evening, "Good night, Ms. Hale." Outside, the air had cooled. The hotel's lights threw soft squares onto the pavement. In the back seat, the girls leaned against Iris and fell asleep before the car turned the corner. What happened after they slept? The whispering, the recalculations. The way Lena watched Miles watch the door is not Iris's concern. She has learned to let other people carry their stories home. In the weeks that followed, a woman came to the studio asking for a dress that moved the way. Iris's skirt had moved at the hotel, not loud, but sure. Another brought in a daughter for a graduation hem and left with a job posting for a receptionist because Iris needed help keeping up. People said less and asked more. A florist offered a standing discount. The landlord stopped by with new blinds because he said, "Sun fades good things." Miles did not come by. Pride keeps a schedule like that. On a quiet Tuesday, Iris pinned a bodice on a mannequin while the girls practiced spelling at the little table. She paused, letting the pin catch the fabric just so. The way practice makes possible, and thought of the hotel, the sheen, the murmurs, the way the world wants to decide who you are while you are still deciding what to become. Then she thought of the look that passed between her daughters in the lobby when she asked what they noticed, and the answer landed so softly she almost missed it. The measure of a life was never the size of a room. It was the choice to stand where you can see your own hands, and to teach small hands to find each other in a crowd.